Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scenic View podcast. I'm John Owens, along with Suzanne Beasley, Artis Watkins, and Samantha Klein. We got kind of a sad opener for the show, but maybe we'll bring you back up towards the end. Let's get to it. So, sad news to report. If you haven't heard already, which don't know how you couldn't have, Dolly Parton died yesterday, age 80 years old, and she's been a huge influence on our podcast, right?
Yeah. Heart is broken.
Most recently with the Imagination Library funding in the state budget, we talked about that. You said that was kind of an error.
Yeah, and the legislature came back and fixed that in the technical corrections bill, but Imagination Library had asked for money to expand.
Yeah.
And it was not included in the budget, which would have meant that, children going forward could not have enrolled in the program.
So we can't jump on them, and this would be a very opportune time to do that.
Yeah.
But my daughter told me this morning that in lieu of flowers, folks are asking people to donate to the Imagination Library. So you can do that at donate.imaginationlibrary.com.
Wonderful things.
I mean, she has been a big part of this podcast. We've talked about Dolly Parton, Parton, Prince,
Yeah.
and Puffins.
Yeah.
As a songwriter yourself, Artis, what are your thoughts?
Everybody's devastated that she's gone for so many reasons. Just from a songwriter perspective, that is one of the best to ever live, period.
What was the thing where she wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You in the Same Day?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, she was in her feelings that day, so that tends to...
Probably playing her fingernails.
And that was because, she was leaving Porter Wagner's show or something.
Yeah. And he didn't want her to leave. But yeah, actually, Suzanne, her fingernails, which are so famous for how in the world could she play guitar with those fingernails? But when she would write, she would cut them.
Ah.
Interesting.
And because she was playing, if you're playing that much.
Yeah, you can't have.
But she actually, I think, I don't know.
She was just
amazing. I don't know where to start.
And I feel like we didn't think she was ever going to die.
No.
I think everybody just always thought Dolly would be here.
And from a songwriting perspective, I got to say that the similar fascination this podcast has with Prince, they shared a lot of similarities being performers and in the music they wrote, which may sound strange because she wrote very Appalachian-style music, and Prince was all over the map. He was a musical genius. He was all over the map. However, the honesty of they themselves and of their music was what made it one of a kind. And it's so funny because they both were heavily costumed at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's strange that folks who protected themselves from the world to a degree with so much costuming were about the most stripped down, emotionally raw and honest folks you could come across in the way they dealt with other people, but also and especially in their music.
Yeah. And another frequent mention on the podcast, Taylor Swift is also a songwriter, right? Very prolific.
Oh, goodness,
she
yes.
does.
So,
and she stepped up with the Imagination Library when the funding wasn't originally put in, and she stepped up along with her now husband Travis Kelce, and I think it was $2 million, wasn't it, Sammy?
I think so, yeah.
Donated to that. But yeah, I woke up this morning thinking, you know what? Step it up, Taylor.
Pretty crazy how many tributes have been online. I mean, I guess it's to be expected, but I think y'all sent you guys one from Eminem where
Yeah.
And there were just
she was so supportive.
All kinds, even like the royal family in the UK wrote something. And President Trump ordered the flags to be half staff for 7 days. And then the governor also did that, right? So
Yes.
Well,
national treasure has...
And especially...
global icon.
In the Appalachian region. I mean, she was kind of the biggest thing going in the Appalachian region. So it leaves a void.
I saw a thing
in Tennessee.
I saw a thing where when the fires happened in Gatlinburg, she paid, I think it's $1,000 for 6 straight months to 900 families in the area.
Per month, yeah.
Yeah, and after that ended, she also gave them all a $5,000 check, like on top of that.
Yeah, remember she didn't believe in billionaires. She didn't
Yeah.
believe in being a billionaire, so.
Just a good heart. Just a good heart.
So definitely a void left in pop culture and I guess you said the world, right?
Yeah.
Was her passing. So do you think there'll be like a big funeral thing?
The family said no, a very small family of a funeral with just the family.
Just them, but there's going to be tributes
Yeah.
everywhere.
There was already one in Asheville last night.
Well, very sad, and we'll probably base our question of the week this week on that. So stay tuned for that. For news this week, I did see a story where Governor Stein kind of dipped his toe into the WakeMed Atrium deal. Sort of. He said it deserves close scrutiny, and I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Artis? What do you?
We don't. I mean, that's what we've been asking for is scrutiny, but scrutiny would require public sharing of this contract, which is not happening. And I'm glad the governor asked for more information from them, but I'm not sure. I mean, the clock's ticking on this.
Yeah.
You've already got, as we've talked about, billboards, signs in the malls saying stronger together, Atrium and WakeMed, and apparently lots of commercials. I've not seen one of the commercials yet.
Yeah. I did see a commercial. I wasn't paying attention to it until the very end when I saw WakeMed Atrium. I was like, oh, so I don't really know exactly what it said, but I'm sure it was the same theme. The governor and the legislature, they really don't have any role in this, though, right? They don't have any. Would they have anything they could
Potentially.
do? Okay.
I mean, Wake County commissioners bear direct responsibility because, as I heard a former commissioner say just last night, who was involved in 1997 when this switched over from being purely a county hospital to this different entity that would still have control, basically, by county-appointed board in terms of majority. The county has a responsibility. That land is incredibly valuable. Yeah. And that land and the buildings were gifted to WakeMed to start this thing. And so they owe a responsibility as county commissioners to the people of Wake County. And frankly, I don't know if any of these county commissioners hold higher ambition politically, but if they do, they need to think about the people of the whole state because as we have said, not we have said, but the state health plan has said directly, it's about $130 more out of pocket for everybody in North Carolina, no matter where you live, if this deal goes through, just because it went through. And if it's that way for the health plan, it's going to be that way for other health plans as well, private health plans that people have. Everything's going to go up according to the experts. So this is something that oftentimes county commissioners have higher aspirations. And if they do, they need to think about the impacts, not just in their county that they're responsible for, but what they're doing to the state.
And a spokesperson for WakeMed said the system is currently working to address the governor's questions about this important combination and its impact on the long-term health of WakeMed and our community. So it looks like it was a letter from from Stein's office, and in the letter, this line stuck out to me. North Carolinians rely on high-quality, affordable health care.
What?
We don't rely on it. We don't have.
We wish.
Yeah.
We have the opposite. We have the nation's most expensive health care, which again means we have the world's most expensive nation in the world for health care, and we're the most expensive state in that most expensive nation. So we have the world's most expensive health care.
With the worst health outcomes.
Not the worst, but not the best. Like we're somewhere like middle of the pack or maybe a little lower.
Yeah.
Well, it's near the bottom actually.
Yeah.
But we're paying the most for that privilege. Well, I mean, I don't think any governor's going to say, wow, we stink on
healthcare.
How much healthcare costs here.
Okay.
But it is what all politicians need to say, confront, and address.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just like nationally, these affordability issues are not going away. And they exist right here.
They are. So you said, Artis, that you had spoken to someone who said their vote will be held in September, correct?
September 8th, the county commissioners are having, one of their board meetings, and that's supposedly when they probably, maybe, will vote on this. The county commissioners have just not been super direct about any of this, but that's my understanding. September 8th is when we can expect them to vote.
Okay.
I actually found an article, I saw it yesterday, but it was talking about a previous Atrium merger that happened in 2020. That was a merger between Atrium and Wake Forest Baptist. And I guess they had brought the former president in June to one of those meetings to make a case as to why this is good for the community. And while he said that their arrival brought investment, financial stability, and improved quality and access to Wake Forest Baptist while allowing the hospital to retain its identity, there was a lot more employees who kind of criticized the merger. And it was more hospital leaders, board members, they publicly praised it. But people like some of the nurses there said that this brought tighter staffing, reduced incentive pay, and pressure to cut cost, and changes that hurt morale and raised patient safety concerns.
Which sounds identical to the concerns of the staff at Mission in Asheville, which was taken over by HCA, one of the nation's biggest conglomerates of healthcare. That this is what happens. No shock there. Ann Kempsky did write a piece on LinkedIn yesterday, and Ann Kempsky, by the way, being a national healthcare expert that people look to help them assess whether things are good healthcare policy. She said, and I quote, "After Atrium Health merged with Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist, prices rose by 28% from 2020 to 2024, according to economists from Brown University School of Public Health. It's bad enough that prices rose 20% overall at North Carolina hospitals over the same 4-year period. But Winston-Salem faced hikes 40% higher than that. No wonder the state health plan balks at putting Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist on its preferred provider tier. Atrium Health wants North Carolina taxpayers and public servants to pay their high prices. Did state workers get a 28% raise over the 2020 to 2024 period?"
Huh. No.
We could answer that. Absolutely not. Therein lies the problem.
Yeah, Nathan Foster, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago talking about this issue from the NC Justice Center, he sent us an infographic right after that interview about CEO pay for the Wake Forest Baptist CEO, who was making $2.5 million in 2019 and now is making $7.6 million. So that's an increase of 300%, 200%.
But the physicians and nurses are reporting being disgruntled because, as is usually the case, we do not hear that this kind of big money trickles down to the people providing us care. It's the C-suite, big dogs that are administrative. And by the way, the administrative layers in hospitals in the last few decades have gotten so much deeper than anything we ever experienced with hospitals.
Another thing that I've seen recently with WakeMed is that WakeMed has been talking about a $919 million expansion, even with the Atrium deal facing uncertain future, saying that when they filed their applications with NCDHHS, they included that their plans are not dependent on the funding tied to Atrium. So it kind of makes you question, how strapped really are they for money? If
They got money.
Yeah, to back up, one of the biggest arguments WakeMed has been making is we'll go under if we don't get together with Atrium because we don't have enough money to make it. They have $1 billion in reserve. They said, well, you don't understand. It takes at least that to keep, with the technology we have to buy and things like that just to keep up. Then it comes out, like Sammy just said,
that they're talking about building or acquiring 2 new hospitals, one in Rollsville and one in Wendell, and then expanding their Raleigh and Cary campuses.
Yeah, I see that. So,
yeah,
will they be using the money from Atrium to do this? Like, is this a carrot for them to say, we need this money so we can do this expansion? Or,
well, like I said, on their statement, whenever they filed with NCDHHS, they said, this is not dependent on our funding tied to Atrium.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So they put themselves
has nothing
out there
to do
on
with
record saying, no, we're good.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
You're either broke or you're so not broke, you're willing to take over other hospitals.
All of this just
so So expected. I hate to say it.
All of this just leads me to the conclusion that we all picked the wrong field to go into because there's so much money in healthcare, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Depends on
Not
what
if you're a
you're
nurse or
doing, yeah.
physician.
Well,
There's
that's
less
true.
and less.
But yeah,
If
obviously we would be in the
healthcare
C-suite.
That corporate. Yeah.
No. But yeah, so we'll be watching that obviously, and September 8th, the vote will happen. Do you think the switch will be immediate, or guess they'll take some time to roll it out?
I have literally no idea. No one has any idea what has
Yeah.
been proposed, so we can't talk on that. But if anybody has the availability, because that, instead of a 2 p.m. meeting like last time, that's a 5 p.m. meeting. So if anybody has the ability to go down to watch the Wake County Commissioners talk about it if they're going to talk about it, or just vote with no discussion if that's what they end up doing, you should do so.
I have an idea. September 8th, we will be in Greensboro for the convention. We should have a watch party.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
So let's talk about the convention for a second.
Sure.
Woo.
The Scenic
here.
Convention is almost here, around 2 weeks away. We're recording on August 26th, which is a Wednesday. The convention will start on September 10th in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Curry Convention Center. Are you guys excited? Don't all jump at once. No, it is fun. It's fun to see everyone again and, see our association get down to business and work hard those 3 days.
Yes. And I do think it's different because we get to see lots of people that we don't see,
Yeah.
people outside of just our board.
Uh-huh.
We don't generally get to see them until we go to convention. So
Yeah.
it's a reminder of the rest of the, membership that we do represent, those folks that aren't necessarily in the bubble.
Yeah, it's a reminder that a lot of people care about the organization outside of the ones that not that we don't like the ones we see a lot, but it's also, exciting to see other people get excited about lots of cool things that will be happening. It is a lot of work, though. I mean, I think that our delegates spend a lot of time watching people speak and making decisions, and it's not just all fun and games, So
yeah, I end up battered and bruised by the end of it.
Taking the pictures. Yeah, Scenic's always been work hard, play hard. Convention is always like that. They definitely the amount of business that is crammed into each day. Has to be a lot. It's a big organization with lots to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But at night, we dance with abandon.
Yes.
You do. You do.
Everybody dances, John. You're just the fuddy-duddy that doesn't dance.
I'm usually in my room watching football or something. No.
There's always some sort of football game going on while we're there.
Yeah, that starts on Wednesday this year. The NFL is playing on Wednesday instead of Thursday. See, that was like my tradition at convention. Thursday night, I would watch the football game, to settle down after a taxing day. But now it's starting on Wednesday, so I'll have to cut the president's reception a little early to go watch it. But we're excited to see everyone in Greensboro. We're doing lots of preparation right now. We're almost there, I think. Packing day is on Friday. Packing day is pretty cool here at Scenic because the whole staff gathers in our conference room, and we pack folders and pack bags, and it's about a 3-hour operation. It's like an assembly line.
Everything that goes.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's some camaraderie.
Yeah, we play music.
Got some music.
Yeah,
but it's hard. It's also
and it's
hard.
not a competition, but it's like assembly lines at each table.
But
and
it gets
always
a little
gets into
competition.
being a competition of which which.
It is funny how you get a little team spirit with your line. We're so much better than that line. How slow they're going.
But to anybody that hosts a convention, we feel your pain. We honor you. We know the behind the scenes. Whenever I go to somebody else's event, I'm sitting there watching them thinking, I know y'all did so much.
I know. I feel that same way whenever I go to something. I'm like, a newfound respect for people who are
and you want it to all go absolutely flawlessly. That's not likely, but you do your best.
I've been doing this for 15 years, and every year has a different challenge. Every year is something you can't prepare for.
But here's the thing: the delegates don't realize.
Yeah, and that's the key, right?
Yeah, we just keep it going.
Yeah. And if they do realize, then you really mess something up.
And
Which
this is
I've done
not
before.
this is not a full election year like all of our
Yeah.
officers and everything, but those are a hoot because I gotta tell you, from the days of the paper ballots to electronic to,
Yeah.
some years where it was kind of a hybrid, I now understand how difficult it must be to have any kind of election
hmm
because somebody's always gonna have an issue
Mhm.
with
Mm-hmm.
the way the election went. And it is a virtual impossibility unless you read each person's name and their vote.
Yeah.
Let them come to the front and tell you if that's their vote or not. There's
Right.
no other way that people would
No.
feel secure, and even then they might not.
Yeah.
It stresses me out for the same reason sports stress me out. Because when I see someone's sad face because they
Oh,
lost
yeah.
or just something happened, I'm like, oh,
I don't.
But
I don't like that. Don't look at me.
But it's cool, though, that people
Yeah.
do run against each other because
Yeah.
it shows. I mean, I'd be much more worried if nobody cared
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody wanted the positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this year we have one race because this year we still do our committee nominations and things, even though we
Yes.
don't. And we do have the statewide impact chairs election. So that'll be,
That's the biggie.
Yeah.
That's the only statewide race, I think.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then we do have breakout trainings this year. And I am teaching one. So
What are you teaching?
Ooh,
I'm teaching one on AI.
Oh, my.
that one will
Of
be
course.
popular, John. The state health plan's coming.
Yeah. The retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. State
Yeah.
health plan. That's right.
Yeah, so everybody will be looking for information from that. And I don't know what the registration count is this year, but this is a big deal. We
Yeah. I think it
usually
was around
have
640. I got the email.
about 700
list.
people.
Yeah. So,
And Thomas Friedman from the health plan's coming?
Yes.
Okay, well, they'll have lots of questions. There's always lots of activity with that.
and we
And
have lots.
They have a breakout too, so
Oh, okay.
there'll be lots of opportunity for folks to
Ooh,
get
that
information.
will be way more popular.
And
than
Treasurer
AI.
Briner's coming. A lot of dignitaries, council
Mhm.
estate, and
Yeah, we've got quite a list of
cabinet.
VIPs.
Yeah.
nice.
I got my running shoes ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
lots
guys
of pictures.
haven't seen Sammy in action at convention, but we've actually witnessed this girl with her knee pads on come sliding up front and get a shot like she's sliding into second base.
Yeah. And President Wendell Powell promises that things will be a little different this year, and that's really scary when you're creating the script. for things, but he's got
Change
some things
is good,
planned,
John.
so I'm excited about that. This is a good time to put a plug in. If you're listening to this and you're not a delegate, I mean, you can come to the convention. You can, not this,
You can't just
you
randomly
can
come,
run
right?
for a delegate's position from your district. So get involved.
Yes.
And then you can come to the awesome convention once a year, and it's a lot of fun. So I encourage everyone to get involved. And we also have the scholarships, right?
We do. We have a convention scholarship where we choose one member from each region who either hasn't been to the convention or really wants to get involved and learn more about SEANC. And we help them get out there, and they get to sit with their district and learn all about what we do at our convention.
Cool beans. So we'll have more on that as it approaches. We got 2 more weeks before, and then we got to figure out how we're going to do a podcast at convention. Last year we pulled it off. I've got to figure out how we're going to do it this year. So stay tuned for that. The other news items I had this week, Governor Stein celebrated state employees with more than 45 years of service with the Richard Caswell Service Awards yesterday. We got 9 people who have at least 45 years of service.
Amazing.
Do you think you'll be working at SEANC at year 45? Maybe.
Heck,
But-
I hope I'm still alive.
They are Jane Beeman from Harnett County District Attorney's Office, who has 49 years of service.
Wow.
And then there's 8 others with 45. So congratulations to those folks.
I'll read them all.
Read 'em all.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Collectively, they have more than 400 years of state service.
Wow.
Jane Beeman from Harnett County DA's office, 49 years. Glendora Hagans from DHHS, 45. Janice Johnson from Justice, 45. The rest of them are 45. So Gail Newman from DAC. May Rogers from Department of Transportation. Morris Reed from DAC. Judy Stem from DHHS. Rebecca Smith from Justice. And Donna Wilson from the Department of Information Technology. Wow, 45 years at the IT department. That's
Congratulations.
They've been
That's
through a
a-
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, they've seen a lot
they've
of
How
seen
much
a lot of
changed.
change, right?
Thank y'all so much
Yes.
for
Yeah.
that much of your life serving us as taxpayers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just started thinking of how old I'll be in 45 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll be 90. I don't know about that. But
I'd be 70.
Zip it, Sammy.
Suzanne and I are like, yeah.
One other story, and I have gripes about this story because I think it's maybe I'm going out on a limb. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but as a former reporter, this seems like a story that you would pull out of nowhere on a Saturday when you have nothing else to write about because I've done it before. The NC highest paid state government employee story that comes out every year.
Yeah.
So this year, it looks like someone just looked through the directory and said, hey, this person makes this much money. But the highest paid state employee in North Carolina is Kevin Sigrist, the chief investment officer at the NC Investments Authority, according to the News and Observer, and several other outlets who picked this story up.
But who makes a fraction of what
Yeah.
Yeah.
a college coach does?
Yeah, I think
Some of the college.
the way they get around that is they're paid through endowments and sponsorships. And I don't know what the difference is, why they're not listed, you know?
How much of his money comes from investments that he does?
Oh, I don't think that's
Right. It makes billions.
Yeah. So that's one thing, right? So there's no context with this story. Like it doesn't show that he's probably making 5 times less than a comparable person in the private sector for that
Yeah.
position, you know,
Yeah.
at least 5. And obviously they've made $17 billion this
Yeah,
year.
right.
Now, wait a minute. I'm looking this up while you're talking. Let's take, I don't know, Bill Belichick, for example.
Yeah.
$10 million salary, 2 main parts. $1 million is paid directly from the university.
Huh.
And then $9 million is funded through athletic department revenue, which technically would have been for the university for some other purpose if that wasn't used for this, media duties, promotional engagements, and donor-supported funds.
It looks like that would be addressed in this because obviously everyone's first question is, well, what about the coaches? Yeah, I don't see anything about that in this story. So there you go. At one time, I think it was Mark Gottfried, the basketball coach at State, and now I guess it's probably Belichick. So
And then there's potential bonuses of $3.5 million.
For what? What? Winning a
Winning.
football?
So far, that's not been a threat.
well, he hasn't.
Um,
He hasn't.
I'm
But-
pulling that off in a grand fashion for sure.
So UNC Chapel Hill provided $21.4 million to support athletics last year between direct payments, services, debt payments, and rental fees, according to its annual financial report to the NCAA. Figure doesn't include student fees that go to athletics, which totaled more than $8 million last year.
And Kevin Segrist made $17 billion for the state. With a
Yep.
B, right?
Right.
So
That's a deal.
So yeah, I think
Truly.
so. I kind of take issue with that article as well. That's
Yeah.
it's missing the.
But also, I mean, I know it's easy. Even our members would see this and be like, wow, he's making way too much money. And,
Well, it is a
whatever.
ton of money compared to your average state employee,
Yeah.
but we have to pay. My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the work he does.
Most dangerous thing you could do is
Yeah.
pay next to nothing and get somebody that's only in it
Yes.
for the connections that'll
Yes.
pay off later. You know,
Not-
you want somebody
yeah.
who's
So 9 of the 10 employees in the top 10 highest paid list are from the NC Investment Authority.
perfect. Let's make some money.
But yeah, we got to pay for, you get what you pay for, right? And also, we don't begrudge anyone for the
Oh, absolutely not.
money they make. We just wish everyone made more, period, right? So that's the annual, these people make this much money story. Seems like it comes out too often. I think that's all I have for news articles that I've seen. Anyone else have anything going on in the legislature?
Nope.
Nope.
All quiet
Oh, that's good.
for the moment.
So let's wrap up with, do you have a Gen Z moment this week?
I think the main thing that Gen Zs are also talking about is Dolly
Dolly.
Parton.
Dolly died?
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I told you, Artis, that one of my friends and I were having the conversation last night that our generation,
Mhm.
Artis and my generation, got all the best of Dolly. We got from when she was a young woman, all the way till yesterday when she passed away. John, your generation,
I
you got a
think-
good portion of that.
I was thinking about this exact thing too. I think my most of my early knowledge of Dolly and just impression in general was her duets with Kenny Rogers.
Yeah. So
You
we
know, I
got
grew
all
up
the
in the
stuff
80s
before
and
that with Porter Wagner.
yeah.
You know, back in those days. But, you know, I was thinking about it, even, you know, Sammy's
Yeah.
generation, you guys know her music. And even like my little grandbabies, they get the books.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
getting a piece of Dolly too. So, you know.
A lot of my generation, I will say, was introduced to Dolly through Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Personally, I was introduced a little earlier. That I lived in Tennessee when I was little.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a staple.
Yeah.
And also my parents, I grew up listening to that music just
Yeah.
around the house.
So, question of the week.
John's wacky weird question of the week.
Obviously, what is your Dolly Parton song? What is your favorite song, your go-to? And maybe we add to that, how were you introduced to Dolly, I guess? Artist, we're going to start with you since you're to the left.
I don't remember how I was introduced to Dolly. Seems to have always been there. My favorite Dolly Parton song is Jolene.
Oh, yeah.
I think the guitar parts and the percussion together create this unbelievable energy and this kind of rockabilly feel that it just builds and builds. And her vocals, you know, I mean, Dolly wasn't Adele or Whitney Houston or somebody like that. She wasn't trying to be. Her vocals though were again so honest, but so emotional. Like she could convey so many emotions so easily.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to soar to the highest notes, you know, that you could get to just be amazing. And Jolene, as she builds in the chorus with, you know, saying Jolene's name over and over and over, the desperation of the protagonist is just so clear. So the lyricism is simple, but the way she delivers it is so powerful. And the instrumentation is really just so cool. She was, you know, it's using that, Dolly used that thumb flick pick method that Mother Maybelle Carter made famous. And that makes some pretty cool guitar riffs. But I don't know, she put all of that together in a way that was so unique. And I think that was maybe her most covered song ever, because everybody can put their own cool spin on it, but everybody hears that, you know, that rhythm and they want to sing that. I think there's a lot of emotion that you can convey as a singer with
I think everybody knows Jolene.
Yeah.
And I have one gripe to pick with Jolene, though. Do you think Jolene was really much hotter than Dolly? Like, there's no way, right? Like, she was like Dolly Parton.
You know, that's the thing. Dolly Parton, again, costumed herself so much. And Dolly Parton was a quite beautiful woman.
Yeah.
It's like she could have just rolled around just being her and been one of the most beautiful women around. But, you know, she liked that persona.
And she owned it too, you know.
Yeah.
She did. There was a story that I heard in one of her videos about a woman that lived in town. You know, Dolly grew up really, really poor. And there was a woman who lived in town who wore lots of makeup, had the big hair. And, you know, every time they'd go to town, Dolly would think to herself, I want to be like her. And her mom would say, oh, she's a tramp. She's trashy. And, you know, Dolly was like, yeah, I want to be that. She had the best sense of humor.
What's that old lyric from, I can't remember the band, but she's a cocktail waitress in a Dolly Parton wig.
Trashy.
Yeah,
Trashy
I like my women just a little
on the trashy side.
But yeah, so Jolene for me, because I think, man, that's a one of a kind.
Yeah.
And to have written it the same day she wrote
I will.
I Will Always Love You. I Will Always Love You is beautiful. I loved Dolly's version. I really loved Dolly's version. Whitney's version obviously takes it to newer heights that are just unbelievable.
But in a different way.
Yeah, but they give you goosebumps, right? Either one gives you goosebumps. And so that's amazing. But just from a songwriting perspective, Jolene's cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just and kind of in that same train of thought with the story behind Jolene, why'd you come in here looking like that?
Oh,
your high heel boots and your painted on jeans. You know, it's kind of in that same. That was such a fun song, but at the same time, Dolly's over there like, what the heck? You know, chick, did you have to come in here looking like that? You know, you're causing problems for the rest of us. And Joshua. You know, which I've obviously been listening to nothing but Dolly music for the last 24 hours, but I had forgotten about the song Joshua, Me and Joshua.
Oh.
Yellow
Took me a
Roses.
minute. Yep.
So many.
So many. How do you pick one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Samantha?
Mine was always Coat of Many Colors.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was such a sweet song, and I used to listen to it with my mom all the time. And I was introduced to her kind of the same way. I just used to come home, and my mom from like elementary school, my mom would be cleaning and had music playing in the background, and it would half the time be Dolly Parton. But I never actually saw what she looked like until Hannah Montana.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know what she looked like. I was just like, I know her music. I love it. I never put names to faces really until I was watching Hannah Montana. I was like, oh,
Funny.
that's her, which was about 2005, 2006. So I was 5 or 6.
That's funny
Still
because, like, I grew up in the 80s, right? And it's almost like, or 80s and 90s, I guess, almost like her persona and her, style was even larger than her songs at that point.
It was,
like it kind of led, you knew what she was and everything before you knew her songs. So
I think I was just introduced at such a young age that I didn't really have internet access at that time. My parents weren't giving me internet access at 5 years old. So they were so it was finally like I just saw on TV and I was like, that's her.
But Coat of Many Colors is
such a beautiful song.
Is also, I mean, the key change in Coat of Many Colors when she gets to the bullying part.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, she could do things that were amazing with her writing. But it sounded so simple. On its face, you wouldn't think, oh, what an incredible song. And that's what makes an incredible song.
Yeah.
If you can tell the whole story in 2 minutes or less, you've done something.
I'm not even sure if she wrote the song I'm going to say, but I think I'm going to have to go with Islands in the Stream because of I'm a big Kenny Rogers fan. And
that's a great song.
Well,
there's a key change in that song, too.
Of course,
But Coat of Many Colors would probably be probably would have been number one if Sammy hadn't taken it. But my mom used to listen to that all the time and sing it.
Oh, it's a classic.
I remember that growing up.
Well, John and I were having a conversation before we started with the podcast, too. There's a song that she did in 2023, World on Fire. And I think, like you and I were saying, she just kind of hit this point of, y'all are tripping. Get your act together.
Yes, she was always so positive. But by the time she recorded World on Fire, I mean, those were shocking lyrics for Dolly.
They were.
Stop the presses. Guess who wrote Islands in the Stream?
Who?
Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb.
No way.
The Bee Gees.
Why doesn't that surprise me, though?
Yeah, it's got
Can you imagine them singing
It's got that chill vibe like they had.
And it was intended for Marvin Gaye.
What?
Oh, wow.
And it was given to Kenny Rogers when Marvin Gaye died.
That's a trip.
Or maybe not when he died.
Marvin Gaye might have been a little too cool for that song.
Yeah, he would have done a great job.
He would. Well, he would have done a great job.
Yeah.
Anything, but it's corny in a wonderful way.
So I know you guys are going to say number one, but where does Dolly rank on the pantheon of like superstars?
I don't think you top her, but Prince.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Musical superstars, let's say that.
She and Prince are.
Yeah. I mean,
Merle Haggard. You got to put him up. I
still can't believe there were people who didn't know who she was.
Prince was such a musical genius, though.
Exactly.
I can't get past that.
Because through the posts that I've seen all over social media talking about her passing, there have been comments that are saying, like, why is everyone acting like this woman is such a big deal? I had no idea who she was until she passed. Yeah. And I'm like, that's your problem.
My children, sit down.
Right. Well, and I got to say this. I think maybe musically, the biggest thing she did was encourage younger musicians, which is massive.
Yeah.
So she probably had a bigger impact than anybody simply because she was about building other musicians up in a really cutthroat industry.
I will at least always be able to say that one of the first theme parks I ever went to in my entire life was Dollywood.
There you go.
Shameless plug for SEANC's Dollywood tickets.
There you go.
Yes.
If
you would like to honor Dolly.
Go to Dolly.
I asked yesterday if I should post something like that. I think that would have been kind of tacky. But
still go to Dollywood.
Still go to Dollywood.
I mean, if you want to buy tickets, we're here for you. So, let's listen.
Remember to support Imagination Library.
Yes.
So let's go listen to some Dolly Parton and enjoy the rest of your week.